Okay, so let's talk about runnables and the runnable execution order. You can see here in the notebook the same example we have used in the previous lesson, a legacy chain versus a new launching expression language chain. And after that, you can see graphically what happens when we prepare this second generation chain. So what this is doing is explained graphically in this image. So if you remember, we are asking our LLM model to tell us a curious fact about a soccer player. In this case, the soccer player is Ronaldo. And we are invoking a chain that has a prompt, a model, and an output parser. So see what is the sequence of events. First, when we introduce the Ronaldo word as input, this chain is going to use this input to complete the prompt template. So here we have a prompt template with a variable, and this variable is going to be filled with the input Ronaldo in this case, okay? So then, once we have the prompt complete, and now our prompt is tell me a curious fact about Ronaldo, we are taking this prompt to the LLM model. We are sending the prompt to the LLM model. This LLM model is going to output a response. This response, without the proper format, is going to be passed to the output parser. And the output of this output parser is the final response, the final output that this chain is going to get. Okay, one curious fact about Cristiano Ronaldo, blah, blah. So here is the same sequence of operations without using the pipe operator. So the first thing we do is we are going to use .invoke with the first runnable. Do you remember I told you each of these elements is a runnable and the result of all the combination of all these runnables is another runnable? And do you remember I told you we can use .invoke with any runnable? So we are going to do this. We are going to call .invoke for prompt, model, and output parser. And you will see that doing this, so we are going to call prompt.invoke with the input Ronaldo. Then with the output of that operation, the output of that operation is going to be the input of the next one. We are going to call .invoke from the model using the previous output as input, etc. So see this graph, we are going to do this. So we are using this input here, and the output of this green operation now is becoming the input of the next operation, etc., etc. So you see here, we are going to apply .invoke with the user input to the prompt template. So we have here the prompt .invoke, and here you have our soccer player variable value, okay? Once we execute this cell, see the output we have, okay? So now, with this output, we are going to execute the model with invoke, okay? So model, invoke, and this input here is the output of the previous operation. Okay, we have, instead of just copying here all this, we have an intermediate step. So we have created this variable output after first step, and this is what we are entering here, okay? So if we call .invoke for the model, this is the response we are going to have. So this is the response of the LLM model with the content, with the response metadata, etc. So then with this output of the model, we are going to call the output parser. Okay, so output parser dot invoke, and all this output, we have created a new variable output after second step, and all this output is there. So now we are calling .invoke with all this, and we have the final response. One curious fact about Cristiano Ronaldo is that he does not blah, blah, blah. Okay, so see, this chain, this sequence of operations can be reproduced in this matter, in this manner. Okay, so prompt.invoke, model.invoke, and output parser.invoke. So a few things to remember. First, a LangChain expression language chain is a sequence of runnables. Almost any component in LangChain, prompts, models, output parsers, retrievers, etc., can be used as runnable. Runnables can be chained together using the pipe operator. The resulting chains of runnables are also runnables themselves. And the order, left to right, of the elements in a second generation chain matters. Okay? So this explanation is very, very important. It's very simple, but this is one of the main confusing areas of students when they are starting to learn LangChain expression language. Okay, the runnable and the runnable execution order in a chain. Another important thing, these second generation chains, these second generation runnables, because as you know, chains are runnables, can be used with different functions like .invoke, .stream, and .batch. We have already seen what invoke and stream do. You have here another example of both. With .invoke, we are, this is the prompt we have right now. Tell me one sentence about one politician, and with .invoke, we are saying, okay, this politician is going to be Churchill. So if we execute this cell, we have Winston Churchill was a British statesman, blah, 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 okay? If we do the same using invoke, we need to use a for loop, okay? As we saw in a previous lesson. Now we are asking about Roosevelt, and here you have the answer. Roosevelt was blah. And with .batch, what we are using is a list of inputs. So invoke is calling the chain on an input, a stream is calling the chain on an input and a stream back chunks of the response, and .batch is calling the chain on a list of inputs. So instead of Churchill or Roosevelt, here we can say more than one. So Lenin and Stalin, and here you have the responses, one for Lenin and one for Stalin. We have also the possibility to use runnables asynchronously. This is an advanced topic that probably you will use in production applications, but right now is early for us to go to this route. Okay, so just keep these two main ideas. First, what is a runnable in the second generation LangChain? Almost everything can be treated as a runnable, as we are going to see in the next exercises and projects. And what is the runnable execution order? The order of this sequence of runnables, okay? It matters and it works in a very particular way. Okay, so these are the two main ideas that it is important for you to learn from this lesson.